Hey, what's up guys, this is your friend Captain Yara, so back with another laptop review, and this time around we are taking a look at the Asus Zenbook Pro 14 OLED 2023 editions, basically Duo laptops, and these are having its own way of talking, both are having its own way of configuration. Basically there are two different types of models and we're gonna talk about each and every aspect. Should you buy this type of laptops? Basically this is a productivity, more onto a productivity based laptop, but there are some cool specifications which might be highlighting you and might be getting you onto this laptop. So this is Captain Diaras, you're watching krsndrs, and let's get started with this two of the laptops. Let's start off with the UX edition. Basically this guy is having the Intel IT support, with that might be easier for you to identify, and this guy is having a dual display. As I told you, duo displays are there. Both are basically OLED, and this is a 14.5 inches of a big display. It also having a 515 nits of peak brightness, a kind of a safe basic as per the laptop. Also this guy is having a 120 hertz of OLED display, and it is also available for the stylus support. The secondary display, or you can see the additional display over here, is a 12.78 inches of a display. However, the bigger display, which is 14.5 inches, it also having a support for the 3K. Both are having its own way of talking, and if you are more onto a productivity, graphic editing, and something like that, such as Photoshop, Illustrator, also you can edit your Adobe or Adobe Premiere Pro line upon that, and it's gonna be really smoothly and crispier, because there will be a timeline completely on your secondary display, which will be really nice to edit. Talking about the operating system, both the laptops are basically having the Windows 11 out of the box, and if you are onto the Asus business, then you can go ahead with the Windows 11 Pro. And Asus basically also recommends, if you are onto the business, then go ahead with the Windows 11 Pro. And having the Windows 11 out of the box, that is a lot of smooth and portability, which is the kind of cemented over this guy. The processor, this guy is having basically support for two different processor. You can configure as per your needs and recommendations. You can go ahead with both of them, which are available. i7 and the i5 are the two options. i7 is a 12700H, and it's a 4.7 GHz processor, 6 P cores and 8 E cores are there, and having its own way of talking. While this guy is having its something 12700H. H is basically for a high performance and something like that, and this guy isn't having any type of graphic card support, so it kind of say having you can rely on this. Basically it is having edge support, and there are 6 P cores, which is kind of say really nice. Talking about another processor, which is a kind of say budgetified based i5 12500H, which is again a H processor. It is also having a 4.5 GHz and 4 P cores and 8 E cores are there. So if you are looking for both of them, i5 might be a cheaper addition for you to get hop on with the OLED dual displays, and i7 might be a good option to grab upon your productivity and stuff like that. But still, this guy is only available with the IT sexy graphics. So I hope you to get onto the secondary edition, which I will be talking about. But if you have a budget type of issues, then definitely go ahead with the i7. And if you have even tight budget, then you can go ahead with the i5 while closing your eyes, because 12th generation are really good in their own manner. Some of the problems on this type of productivity thin and light kind of laptops is basically with the battery. This guy is only having a 67 watt hour of battery, which is divided upon the 4 cells, which I believe that as per some of your productivity issues, it might be lasting you more than 5+ hours, and might be even more than that, but I hadn't tested it out. It's my own based opinion. So what do you think about this type of laptop batteries? If you have tested, let us know in the comment section down below. The ports, there are some of the plenty of the ports out there, but yeah, they are still there. Basically one USB 3.2 Gen 2 port is there, which is a type A, 2 Thunderbolt 4. Basically both are a type C based port, 3.5mm headphone jack, HDMI, and a DC port basically for your charging the laptop. The ports are basically similar on the both the sides. However, I was hoping that the SD card might be there on this guy, but it is not. So if you are for more onto the SD card usage, then that might be a big error for you. Talking about the RAM, this is a 16 GB of LPDDR5 RAM. However, you can't upgrade this RAM, which is as for me should be there, but this is a LPDDR5 RAM, so it won't be able to upgrade it out. Also, there is a two options for the M.2, which is a 1TB and a 512 GB, and you can rely upon what are your needs and the stuff out there. And both are basically based upon the M.2 SSD type of storage. There are some of the basic things out there. This guy is having a 720p HD 720 camera, 720p camera out there. So it is good, but it isn't having a support for the Windows Hello and stuff like that. Also, this guy is having a Wi-Fi 6 support, which is again a really nice thing. Also, Bluetooth 5.3 in that if you are more on to relying upon the wireless connectivity. Coming towards the another version which is based upon the view, or you can see this guy isn't having the Intel um, Evo supported type of stuff. Anyways, talking about this guy, basically it is good in its own way. There are some of the big upgrades out there, from the 12th generation to the 13th generation, from the Iris Xe to actual graphic card inside of it. Let's talk about the processor which it is able to have out of it. Intel i9 is there and the i5 are the two processors. The i9 is basically 13900H. It is based upon the 5.4 gigahertz, 14 cores and the 20 threads are there. Also, i5 is upon the 13500H and it is based upon the 12 cores and the 16 threads, and yeah, 4.7 gigahertz. And talking about the graphics, it is basically, some of the coolest out there. And 13th generation is there, so if you don't have a graphics support too, then also it will be able to give you some of the good benchmarks out of it. 13th generation will be also able to grab out some of the good productivity on your base, and can be really useful too. Talking about the graphic card, then you're going to get the NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 4050, and this is a 6 GB of graphic card with a GDDR6 of storage type. And also this guy is also having the support for the Iris Xe. So if you wanted to have that high-end lineup of processor, and you don't want something which isn't you needed right now, then you can go ahead with the Iris Xe. Basically, Iris Xe can also be used on some of the PCs out there, but it isn't a high-end based graphic card. So that's why a dedicated GPU is something like the RTX of 4050, which this one is having, is kind of say really good. Coming towards the RAM and the ROM, this guy is having two options over here: 32 GB of the RAM and a 16 GB of. Also, a 1 TB storage option is only there. So if you wanted to grab upon something like a bigger end, then it won't be possible on this guy. Well, some of the basic things, display and windows, that all the things are basically similar over here. Also, the ports, as I told you, it's basically same over here, but the camera has been changed. This is the FHD camera, which is a 1080p, and it is also having a support for the Windows 11, basically the iris sensor. Kind of say really nice. Also, you can tell it has a Windows hello thing. Okay, talking about this, both the laptops, as if they are starting at a really good affordable price point. Under a lakh, you can get upon this, guys. Both having its own way of talking, and talking about this duo display based technology. It is really good for the productivity, your general usage. It is really good. If you are more onto a graphic and stuff like that, then it might be a really helpful. From the lakh, you can go ahead and upgrade, and you can get up to 13,900H processor, which is the i9 based version with the 4050 Ti. No, it's not a Ti based, but the 4050 you can grab on that. Talking about this laptops, they are more onto the productivity, but still, if you go ahead and throw some of your games out there, then some of the cool benchmarks you can also get out of it. But basically, 12th generation is also capable of some of the good gaming, and some of the support from the Iris Xe will be also really useful for that. Also, there is a 13th generation. If you go ahead with the another upgraded version, which is a UV, and it has its own way of talking. If you go ahead and grab yourself with the dedicated graphics card, which is a 4050, then also you can grab some of the good amount of FPS out of it. Some of the things which are kind of say neglected on this budget type of edition, which is the ZA, and some of the things it has for me is basically a 720p camera. That might be not a big issue, but a 16 GB of only RAM is there, and 32 GB is available for that UV RAM, which is basically upon the 13th generation processor. Also, some of the things which are completely same over here on the both the sides, which is a really nice thing. And those are kind of say major updates which you might be able to feel it out. But there are also one big major update on the weight side, which shouldn't be there as for me, but the another upgraded version with the 13th generation processors, it is having a dedicated graphic card support too, so it goes at a really heavy version. and while that one is around 5 or 7 kilos less on this guy, so it might be upon you. So, but that doesn't vary. If you want some of the good performance, you have to grab on the heavier side of usage, so it might be completely up to you. What do you think about this laptop? Let us know in the comment section down below. This was Captain DRS, and this productivity visual laptops are having its own way of talking. Gaming can't be done on a really big manner on this guy, but yeah, still they are getting into the gaming type of versions too. So it is kind of say, a gaming type of productivity. That's why the Zenbooks are kind of having its own way of confusion on and on their side. Anyways, this was Captain DRS. You were watching Kiaras and DRS. I'll catch you in the next video. Like, share, subscribe. Gonna be appreciating my work. Stay safe, stay connected. Peace out.